Harley Davidson and their dealerships has been a talk for many people lately. They have closed a lot of dealerships around the country, and there may be more to come. In today's video, I'm going to tell you why that might not be as bad as you think. As y'all know, I'm a big fan of my Harley Davidson dealerships. I am boasting behind me right now the world's largest collection of Harley Davidson's t-shirts. That is a self-claim, by the way. It is not documented. I'm definitely open to challenges. I got these t-shirts riding to every dealership in the country across 2014, 15, and 16. Along the way, I met a ton of wonderful dealers, owners from inheritance that have generational dealerships, to guys that came over from the car industry and bought multiple dealerships. I've seen it all, from the big down to the mom and pop. And there's one thing they all have in common: they bring the motorcycle community together. It's also something that a lot of people have boasted on. When comparing Harley to Indian, lots of people would say, but the Harley dealer network, you're never too far away from a dealership with Harley. And as they close more, that point becomes less poignant. So as it is true, it may be harder for you to find a close dealership today than it was last year, and it may be even more difficult next year. I don't think that's the biggest focal point. What I think we should focus on is what this will do for the brand long term. And frankly, I think it makes sense. Before I tell you why I think it makes sense, let's look at some of the dealerships that have closed already. Trenton Harley Davidson. This is one that is close to my heart. I don't know if y'all remember, but I built a trike for a disabled veteran that couldn't ride two wheels. This trike was built in conjunction with Trenton Harley Davidson, and we gave it away. We surprised him with it at their dealership a couple years ago. RIP Mischler's in Wisconsin, 62 years as a Harley Davidson dealership, and they have closed this past year. Chuck's Harley in Illinois, after 50 years, unfortunately closed. Gail's Power Sports. Gail is an amazing lady, another one that I'm personally friends with, and while her doors may not be closed forever, her Harley Davidson title is. She actually switched from a Harley dealer to a multi-brand dealer. That is one downside to owning a Harley Davidson dealership, is a lot of control over what brands you can sell, over your building requirements, what you can and can't advertise, what you can say in an advertisement. There's just a lot of rules and a lot of regulations that come with owning a Harley Davidson dealership. And Gail decided to stay in the motorcycle business, but leave the Harley Davidson brand as an exclusive. So while there are a multitude of reasons for these dealerships closing, I think a lot of it is pressure down from corporate. Corporate is forcing some dealerships to close, and it is at first a frightening thing. It's like, oh my God, you look at Harley Davidson stocks and their numbers and the riders and their desperate efforts to reach new riders that haven't really been fruitful yet, and you think this is the demise of Harley Davidson. But if you, like me, are a Harley Davidson lover, fear not, because I believe they're making intelligent decisions. Let me explain. Are you a stubborn American? Do you believe in the stubborn American classics like I do? Show the world how stubborn you are. Stubborn American hats. We've got the stubborn American t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and patches. You can show the world how stubborn you are on my website, adamsandoval.com. Let me tell you one more thing before I give you my take. I heard, this is not documented, not backed up, but I heard there may be close to 200 dealerships closing across America over the next 2 years. That means SRLs, which are satellite locations, and full dealerships. Like I said, that is not confirmed, it's not 100%, it's an inside rumor, but I got it from what I feel to be a fairly reliable source. So with that said, potential of 200 dealerships closing, some major iconic dealerships already closed, and I'm telling you there's silver lining and that there may be something good about it. I really do believe this, y'all. The same amount of bikes are going to sell even with 200 less dealers. The same amount of riders are out there, the same amount of people that are wanting these new bikes are out there. They are going to buy. Some dealerships are so close together, it's crazy. Like, I remember being in cities like Dallas, for example, And you could ride 15 miles and hit a dealership, ride 15 more miles, hit another dealership, ride 15 more miles, hit another dealership. Every 15 miles does seem a bit excessive for an area, and it makes it difficult for all of them to eat. The motorcycle sales are just spread out so thin at that point. Now, by consolidating and cutting back on some of these dealerships, it just means the ones that are left are going to be a little bit more fruitful. They're probably going to be a little bit more successful, and I think it will lead for a stronger future. Like I said, the downsides are obvious. You may be further away from your dealership the next time you're on a road trip and you break down. You may have to drive further to your local dealership to get your service. These are legitimate downsides, and I sympathize with the people that will experience those. But I think for the brand as a whole, if you're like me and you just want to see Harley Davidson succeed, I think this is a win. I think this is going to make the dealerships they have stronger. I think it's going to make them pay a bit more attention and get more involved with their areas, because they're now going to have a larger area and a larger group of people to support. This means bike nights could potentially be bigger. You know, instead of having a bike night every 15 miles apart, now you've got bike nights for the entire area at one location. Different events like that should see a bump in attendance. They should be larger. I think they're still going to sell the same amount of bikes with as many dealerships as Harley has out there, and I'm not sure how many are around today. If I had to guess, probably still over 600 of them. Cutting back 100, even 200, still leaves you with 400 dealerships. That's an absorbent amount of dealerships, and with those dealerships being exclusive to Harley Davidson, I would say it's probably more exclusive dealerships than any other brand has. They're still positioned very strong, and I think that this is a power play. I just think it's going to make the dealerships that are around better, and I just think it's a good thing. I just think it's going to make those dealerships that are still around even stronger and more successful. Sometimes you got to sacrifice to gain, and I think that's what Harley Davidson is doing here. They're not boasting on the number of dealerships they have. They're taking the criticism that they're going to get from some people for closing dealerships. They're taking it all on the chin because they know in the end they're going to come out stronger. I think it's a wise move. Harley Davidson, if y'all are out there listening, congratulations. I think this should be a good play for you, and I look forward to seeing how it turns out. For all of those dealerships that are closing, and for those of you that are losing your hometown dealership, many of which I've got t-shirts for right here in this very bike shop, I am sorry. I sympathize with you all, and I know that sometimes the game of business can be brutal, and this might just be one of those times. But I want to know, do you all agree with me? Do you think this could be something that helps Harley Davidson go into the future stronger? Or do you think it's a sign that the end is coming? I'm interested to hear what you think. I don't have the answers. I just have my opinions. I just wanted to share them with y'all and give you something to think about. Harley Davidson has been the topic of so many conversations lately, with all their reaching out for new markets with their electric bikes and their off-road bikes and their inexpensive bikes for the entry-level rider. They've been trying everywhere to reach new markets, but I think this is something they've done to probably make their existing market stronger. I really am interested to read what y'all are gonna say about this down in the comments. I'll be reading them all thoroughly and diligently, because this is something that could shake out many different ways. I hope it shakes out the way I think it's going to, but maybe y'all got some insight or some thought I haven't thought of. Listen, if y'all like to talk about motorcycles, see motorcycle roads, check out motorcycle events and rallies and parties, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button, or smash that subscribe button, or poke it, or prod it, or whatever you do. Hit that subscribe button. See what we got to talk about tomorrow. It could be a conversation about the industry, or it could be a beautiful road. You'll just have to wait and see. Harley Davidson, I know you're gonna get some criticism for all these dealerships closing over the next year, but you, my friends, stay stubborn, stay on focus, and I hope to see you standing tall on the other side. And for everybody watching, I'll see you in tomorrow's video.